Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov is happening at UFC 311. And Merab Dvalishvili is going to beat Umar. Okay, as much as people think that, Umar, oh my god, this is the guy who, he can finally beat Merab, and Merab's finally met his match. He's not going to be he's just gotten this far because he's a one-trick pony and he abuses his cardio. But, now that he's met a Nurmagomedov, there's no way he beats him. I have to disagree, okay? I have to disagree, and I gotta explain why I believe that Merab Dvalishvili is going to beat Umar Nurmagomedov. For starters, we gotta look at the externalities, okay? Because oftentimes, the externalities are more important than the actual X's and O's when it comes to breaking down a fight and when it comes to making your picks. Because this fight especially has a bunch of externalities. For starters, we got the fact that Merab's an underdog, okay? Merab, when he's an underdog, he performs significantly better than when he's a favorite. And I know somebody's gonna be like, bro, what is this guy even talking about? What's he even talking about? Why the fuck would it matter if Merab's an underdog? It does, okay? Because you look at the Cejudo fight where he was a minus 300 favorite or something like that, and he gets chinned in the first round. He comes back and looks great. But, that was kind of, that led to people picking against him in the Sean O'Malley fight where he was a slight underdog. And that's when he pulls off that close decision. And then you look even further back. You look at the Peter Yan fight when he's another underdog. He's around a minus 180 underdog, I'm pretty sure. Or a plus 180 underdog, sorry. And that's when he does his best work, okay? When he's an underdog, when he feels like there's, everyone's picking against him. When a lot of people are picking against him. And when people think, he's finally met his match, that's when he goes out there and he feels like he has that pressure on him, okay? And not only that, if you think that this is some sort of joke where, bro, I don't give a shit, it does matter. First of all, it does matter because in the case of guys like Bilal and Merab, they are always underdogs and they always seem to pull through when they're underdogs, right? But other than that, there's a whole lot of beef around the fight, and we all know Merab, when he hates a guy, when he has beef, he doesn't go out there and fight emotional. That doesn't really happen. If anything, he fights better. Look at the Yan fight, right? He fought better when there was a beef going on, a beef surrounding the fight. And we got Umar out here calling out Georgia, talking all this trash about Merab, and Merab is genuinely offended, okay? Merab's getting rage baited into this, but it's not a good thing, okay? Because if you are Umar, you want to be as respectful as possible towards this guy. You want to be buddy-buddy with him almost, to the point where this guy is, he's almost like, I don't care about losing the belt. Look at what he did for Aljo. This guy was a cuck for Aljo and let Aljamain Sterling hold the belt and refused to fight him because he was buddy with them. That's what you got to do to Merab. You got to be buddy-buddy with him. Instead, you got Umar being a complete villain, right? And Merab believing that this guy genuinely doesn't belong there. He doesn't belong there. He's fighting him. And, this guy should be ranked number 15, right? That's what Merab is thinking. So these externalities, they're all pointing towards, Merab's going to be, he's going to be in there with a mindset that's not going to be, let's let the better man win. Let's have a good fight. Instead, he's in there with a little chip on his shoulder, okay? And that's what I want to see when I see a guy like Merab. But, something else we got to talk about are the X's and O's. See, with a fight like this, it's important to break down the X's and O's because you got a fighter in Umar Nurmagomedov who has an amazing skill set, right? He has the sambo wrestling and he has some good striking paired with it. In contrast, you got, Merab Dvalishvili here, which is the freestyle wrestling where he'll shoot a takedown and, he'll fail it, and he'll shoot another takedown and he'll fail it, and he's not really good at holding you down, right? Because as a freestyle wrestler, this guy his only job is to try and get you down, but he doesn't know how to hold you there. And that's why a lot of people look at this and they go, well, Merab he's not talented. He only has his cardio. And you really look at this matchup and Umar's going to beat him on the feet and he's just going to stuff the takedowns, or he could beat him up on the ground, right? That is an idea that a lot of people have when they're picking this fight. And it's a good idea because in theory, that should happen, but it doesn't happen. This is a Merab fight. This isn't a fight that you can accurately predict based on just the skill sets alone. Because Merab always has a weaker skill set than his opponents, okay? Peter Yan has one of the deepest bags in terms of his skill sets. And he got 50-45 by Merab, okay? That's because Merab, even though all he has is his cardio. All he has is his cardio, bro. He's just a cardio merchant. He's a one-trick pony. It doesn't matter. He abuses it. Okay, I don't know if he's probably on fucking EPO. He's probably on whatever. but it works, okay? And people go in there with good takedown defense, right? Sean O'Malley had good takedown defense going into that fight because look at what he did to Aljo, right? And I think he's gonna chin Merab. I was saying that, and all of MMA YouTube and majority of people were saying that O'Malley's gonna stuff the takedowns. And he's going to chin Merab, right? Merab's chinny. All this whole narrative of Merab being chinny and all this. And it's just, it's easy to stuff Merab's takedowns. But look at what happens. And I know you're going to say, well, that's O'Malley. That's not Nurmagomedov. That's not a Nurmagomedov. And we have this idea that, the Nurmagomedov name, that boosts you up. Yeah, you're all the way on a pedestal here. And, you're the villain who's eventually going to get that belt. But when it comes to a guy like Merab, he doesn't give a shit, okay? He doesn't give a shit. Merab isn't going in there scared, okay? He's not going in there thinking he's fighting a legend. He's not giving any respect to Umar. This guy genuinely believes that the guy he's fighting is a fucking rookie, okay? Because Umar he's a bit of a noob, right? He's a noob in the UFC, so he's not going to be nearly as experienced as Merab, and that's a thing that we need to consider, right? Experience isn't always the most important thing, because a lot of people like to pick fights based on experience. They go, Max Holloway has way more experience than Ilia Topuria. He's going to obviously beat Ilia Topuria. No, genuine talent will always beat that experience, right? But this isn't a case of that. I'm sorry, okay? Umar's talented. The kid's talented, but he just hasn't met this level of just relentless pressure, right? He's never had to face this. He had the Corey Sandhagen fight. He had a 5-round fight there. But what were they doing? Okay, Corey Sandhagen was just stance switching. There was no pressure being applied. There was no testing of Umar's, grappling and his cardio. None of this. Okay? Umar's not going to replicate this anyway in his gym. He's not going to be able to replicate this. And Merab's just going to take over. Okay? That's when it comes to the game plan itself. What's the game plan that Merab needs to have to win? For starters, in order to win this fight, we need to not respect Umar's grappling. We need to not be afraid to shoot takedowns. And I believe that Merab is going to do this. I believe that if Merab strikes with Umar, right? If he goes in there and thinks that, I'm going to compete with him in the striking because, he's a grappler, so that makes sense. That's never going to fucking work, okay? Merab is going to get pieced up by Umar on the feet. But I believe that if he just, if he keeps shooting takedowns, he needs to shoot 100 takedowns. Okay, and fail every single one of them like he does, right? He's going to have a stat line of 1 takedown completed and 100 takedowns attempted, but that would still work. Okay, as long as he's constantly shooting takedowns and wasting, 10 seconds here, 20 seconds here, maybe 30 seconds here, and he's kneeing you up against the fence, it is going to be a very boring fight, but Merab is going to, he's going to pull through, and the judges are going to be forced to score it towards him, okay? They're going to score that fucking knee, that kneeing to the thigh. They're going to have to score that, okay? That's some pitter-patter damage, but eventually it's all going to add up, okay? Umar's probably going to have some slick moments on the feet, and the idea that, Umar's going to beat him in the grappling, right? Umar's just going to beat him in the grappling. He obviously, he can beat him in the grappling. He can obviously beat Merab in the grappling, but Merab isn't a grappler in terms of, he's not going to be dealing any damage towards you on the ground. That's not Merab's goal. Merab is a staller, okay? His goal is to just stall you out on the fence and wear you down. Once he actually gets you down, he doesn't really do fuck all there, okay? He doesn't do anything there. So, yes, Umar can out-scramble and, get better position. He can get a better position and he can actually deal damage towards Merab, which is a worry, but I don't think that's going to happen, okay? I think, Umar Nurmagomedov, a big Nurmagomedov, he's going to be scared to let Merab take him down. He doesn't want to have a guy like Merab take him down. That's an insult towards him, right? So Merab, he's just going to be stalling up against the fence. He's going to be stalling, and it's going to be similar to the Jose Aldo fight in my eyes, okay? Because Umar doesn't want to get taken down, right? He doesn't want to get taken down by a guy like Merab. So he's going to, he's just going to sit there, and he's going to wait for an opportunity to, reverse position or something like that. And Merab's going to be benefiting from that time, okay? He's going to be running the clock down, and he's going to be wasting time and just gaining some control time for the judges. And the judges are going to be forced to score it to him. I think that Merab's probably going to get 4 rounds, okay, maybe 3 rounds. It could be a close fight. Regardless, I think Umar, overall, this fight's going to leave a lot of ideas that, Umar's the way better fighter, but Merab's just better at using his style to get a win, right? Merab isn't actually a good fighter. People are going to be saying this. He's not actually a good fighter. He abuses the system. and wins by control time. That's literally what's going to happen. It happens every Merab fight. This fight is no different. I'm telling you, even though it's Umar Nurmagomedov, the boogeyman, it's no fucking different, okay? I'm not picking against Merab. He's going to win this fight. Underdog, all this stuff, all of the beef going into it. I guarantee you who he wins this fight. Man, it's as simple as that, brother. This Saturday night, he's going to win, brother. 49-46, 48-47.